I am Greg Follette from Alquimista Cellars, and we are in the Russian River Valley right now. Two out of the three wines that you'll be tasting are all about the Russian River Valley. The third is very high altitude. We'll start with the Lorenzo Vineyard, one of the oldest Chardonnay vineyards in the Russian River Valley. When it was first planted, Chardonnay was not even on the California Grape Report. Had to be on other whites. That's how long ago that was planted. And this wine is on its own roots as well, which is really special because almost all vines all over the world are grafted on a rootstock to fight back a root louse called phylloxera, which devastated the wine industry in the mid to late 1800s. So this is a little bit risky, but the owner here just struck these sticks of grape sticks right into the ground, and it's now one of the more famous Chardonnay vineyards in the Russian River Valley. Helen Turley at Marcusson made it famous with her Lorenzo Chardonnay, but I've been in there a lot longer than her, and I'm still there now. This wine is made with all wild primary and secondary fermentation, meaning there's no inoculation of any kind. Basically, the ingredients in it are grapes. And it produces a very lush, broad, spreading mouthfeel. And you guys are actually getting some of the last of the Lorenzo in captivity because we are sold out of our 2016 and 2017 Lorenzo Vineyard Chardonnay. For the Pinots, we'll next move on to a Russian River blend called the Confluence. And it comes from a vineyard very close to the Lorenzo Vineyard, very close to where we're filming right now, called the Hawk's Roost Vineyard, operated by Chuck Jones. I've been working with this vineyard only for about 20 years, so it's kind of a newcomer for me. Chuck Jones is a beloved member of our community and produces wine that is made entirely of a very special clone of Pinot Noir, a Swiss clone called Klevner Mariafeld. It's one of the world's most coveted clones, but is not grown much here in the United States. The second wine on this is from the Mes Filles Vineyard, which is just a little bit to the west of where the vineyard that we're looking at right now. This is a vineyard that I helped to plant, and I was the vineyard manager for this when this wine was made. It is also made all wild primary and secondary fermentation in small open top fermenters, hand plunged, and staying on the lees for 2 years before being finally bottled. The third wine is the Manchester Ridge Pinot. It's one of the more famous Pinots in America. For instance, a few years ago at the American Fine Wine Competition, it was the first wimpy little Pinot to beat out the big Cabernet boys as best red wine in America, and since then has won a number of other accolades. And it is probably our most popular Pinot Noir. It is grown way up on the northern Mendocino coast, about 3.5 hours drive from right here, at 2,200 feet in elevation, and it is the ridge right on the ocean. When I planted a place called Flowers, I planted that one ridge in to have protection from the ocean, and at 1,100 feet to be above the coastal fog. This is about an hour and a half further north up the coast, on the Mendocino coast, and it is twice the height of Flowers. Not only is it above the coastal fog, it's above the coastal clouds. And it is the ridge right on the ocean, so it gets all the brutal rain and weather that's coming down from the Gulf of Alaska, which means that we cannot make this wine every single year. There's some years when it just doesn't make it because of the brutal weather. It is one of the latest flowering vineyards in North America, including later than the Niagara Escarpment, which makes it also one of the coolest vineyards in North America. I've started vineyards all over the world, including in third world countries, and this is probably the most extreme vineyard, or one of the two most extreme vineyards I've ever worked with on the planet. But as my partner Patrick Dillon says, from adversity comes greatness, and that's what you get out of the Manchester Ridge.